Hello and welcome to the third episode of this little series. Magdalena here, Wolf of Coins. Thank you so much for all your comments about previous episodes, all your interpretation, your own ideas about the cards. It's fascinating, really. So yeah, thanks again. I hope you'll enjoy the next installment. So what do we have here? A lot of cards. Today we will be focusing on number 3, the Empress, and number 13, the Nameless Arcanum. In most Tarot de Marseille decks, this card doesn't have a name. Unless it's the Noble Tarot, then it's Death. So let's start with the Empress, and I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite cards in the tarot deck. I know some people dislike this card, and that's absolutely understandable, but for me this is a great archetype to work with, a great card. I love it. So we see that she is a ruler, and she has the imperial eagle on the shield, similarly to the emperor. He also has the eagle, the symbol of the empire, and also they have basically the same scepter. Actually, hers is a bit bigger, but yeah, I would interpret this as they have the same type of power. They are like equal as rulers. So for me, this is a self-confident woman. She must be a politician as well. She knows who she is, and she firmly sits on her throne. You can see it, like she has like legs like this. It's a very stable position, and you can see that she knows who she is. That's why she's such an attractive archetype for me, because she's a strong woman and very grounded, and she firmly sits on her throne. She knows her worth. As the Empress, she's of course the mother of future rulers, and we are reminded about it by the fact that her scepter rests upon her belly. And yeah, I might show you other images. This is from Pierre Madeny. This is from CBD Tarot. This is one of my favorite. It's the Pissed Off Empress from the Noble Tarot. And this is edition Millennium. And this is also one of my favorites. This is the Jodorowsky Come Empress, and she has green eyes. Beautiful. So yeah, she secures the bloodline, right? So she secures that the tradition will continue. And yeah, as for Jodorowsky, he saw a leaf sprouting from her scepter. To compare it with, there's the CBD, so it's Yoav Bendov's reconstruction of the Convert deck. There is something like a leaf, but he didn't color it green. Whereas in this deck, it is definitely a leaf, reminding us about creative powers of this archetype. So we arrive at number 3, which is the which is the creative number, the creative force. For the archetypes, we can think of also for famous female rulers, such as, just a few examples because there are many. Hatshepsut, so she was the female pharaoh of Egypt, Cleopatra, Catherine the Great, Maria Theresa, Queen Elizabeth I, and so on. For archetypes, we can think about such strong female rulers. And then when it comes to goddesses, she would be, of course, the queen, the queen of heavens. We even see, like, we could interpret this throne a little bit like wings, so it would connect her to heavens as well. So, as for goddesses, it would be Greek Hera, Sumerian Inanna, or Egyptian Isis. They were all protectresses of the city or states, and they were granting the authority to the rulers. Same goes for Mary, Mother of God, from Christian belief. She really often protects cities, sometimes countries as well. For example, she's crowned Queen of Poland, and she's called Regina, the Queen. Then, when we think of goddesses in number 3, we can think about very, very common form of deities, female triad. There are male triads too, but there are also a lot of triple goddesses, as they are called. We can think about Selene, Artemis, Hecate, or Athena, Hera, Aphrodite, as they appear before Paris, or very commonly 3 fates, so Greek Moirae, Scandinavian Norns, or Slavic Zorias, or Rožanice, or Sudičky. They have many names, but there are basically 3 women goddesses who are related to fate. Also, in the Baltic beliefs, we have the Laima, who can be a singular, who can be in a triad too. They were all the guardians of new life, the giver of fate and fame, and those who ended lives. And this takes us smoothly to this card, which is a pair with the Empress, because we have the creatrix, the giver of life, and we have the destroyer, the one who ends life. And in old religions, very often this was not separated. This was one deity, okay? So it really makes sense. So now we turn to number 13. And as I said, this arcanum has no name in most Tarot de Marseille decks, except for, as I said, Jean Noblet. And this relates this card to the Fool, who does have a name, but he doesn't have a number. And also, when we look at these 2 cards, we can see that they have a lot in common in the way of composition, because you see the staff of his and the scythe of death. And actually, Chodorowski in his book writes that it could be that the number 13 could be like an X-ray of this of this card. So we look underneath the skin of the Fool to see Arcanum XIII. So anyway, this is kind of a weird image. I can, for comparison, I can show you. This is the CBD. This is the Jean Dodal. Jean Noblet you've seen already. And this is the edition Millennium. And actually in this one we get the bar for the name, but it's empty. So yeah, we see a skeleton in a kind of a skirt with a pocket. There's a pocket here too. This is a bit different, but here we can see the skirt and the pocket, which is weird in itself. But yeah, what death can be hiding in this pocket? What does she need? I call her she because it's French is l'amour, so it's her. Sorry for the interruption. That was my husband. Where was I? So yeah, we can think about what death can need while working to put into this pocket. And we're not sure whether this skeleton is killing with the scythe or just somehow collecting these crops, because we see some plants here and those heads and limbs. However, it's in the end it's actually the same thing, because to be reborn you need to die first, so you need to like lose something in order to gain something, right? So for me it usually means, when I pull this card, it means that something needs to be ended, but it probably won't be like an easy task. You need to like plow through it. You need to put the effort, and it will be hard. We need to like force our way through all the obstacles. As for the archetypes, there are many death goddesses and gods. You can pick and choose. And other than that, the scythe reminds us about Saturn, or Chronos, from Greek mythology, and they are related to time. So there is time for everything, both for growth and for decay. 13 is a number of months in the lunar calendar. So actually the 13th month is the end. It's death of the year. So it matches perfectly. The face of the death is actually, it even resembles a bit the face from the moon card. Let's see. It also has this kind of, you see this, I don't know how to call it, but it's framed in a way. See? So, and this is the Millennium Tarot. This is the Pierre Madeny. And yeah, and we see this kind of frame, except that they're facing in different directions, unless you take the Millennium Tarot that claims to have flipped back the flipped images, and they actually face in the same way. They're looking the same way. So the skeleton here stands on a black fertile soil. There are not that many patches of black in Tarot de Marseille, and this is definitely one of them. So yeah, black soil is the richest, the most fertile soil. And she might be, we could imagine that death is actually sowing people, because they might be, those heads here, they can actually be growing from the earth, you know? It doesn't have to mean destruction necessarily. Maybe it's some creepy, weird way of people growing out of the earth, and we can be reminded of Deucalion and Pyrrha from Greek myth, who were told to restore humanity. They were told to throw the bones of their mother behind them, meaning stones, because it was meant to be Mother Earth. So throwing the bones of, there are some bones, of their mother behind their backs, and from those that Pyrrha threw, women grew from the earth, and her husband threw the stones for men. So I'm also reminded of that myth here. So together, when we think about them, it is a cycle. So number 13 is preparing the field somehow, maybe like removing, what you call them, those plants that interrupt crops growing, like removing all the unnecessary things for the seeds that the Empress will sow. So yeah, again, I will be delighted to hear your ideas about these cards, and thank you so much for all your comments. I love them, so please comment also on this video. It always gives me motivation for working on the next episodes, and have a lovely day. Bye.